What's up everyone, I'm Dan and thanks to Indie.io for the review code for Sands of Aura on the Nintendo Switch systems. There's no denying where Sands of Aura takes its inspirations from the deliberate stamina-based combat to the oppressive atmosphere and cryptic storytelling. The influence of Dark Souls is unmistakable, but while it captures some of that series' punishing philosophy, does it replicate the sense of cohesion and intrigue that makes a true Souls-like compelling? Set in the shattered world of Talamel, a ruinous cataclysm has plunged the land into perpetual night. Time itself has fractured, spilling into an endless sea of sand. As a newly inducted Remnant Knight, you sail across this desolate sand sea aboard a grain wake, hunting down corruption and attempting to restore some semblance of hope. It's a strong premise, grim, mythic and full of potential. Unfortunately, that potential doesn't always translate into an engaging experience. The game is presented as an isometric open world RPG, allowing you to chart your own path across scattered islands rising from the dunes. There are no glowing markers or quest logs guiding you forward. In theory, this hands-off approach encourages exploration and immersion. In practice, however, it often feels like you're wandering around aimlessly. Areas tend to blend into one another visually, and without clear direction, it's not always obvious where you're supposed to go next. That ambiguity may appeal to hardcore fans of the genre, but here it frequently results in frustration and boredom rather than discovery. Visually, Sands of Aura aims for a stylized, slightly cartoonish aesthetic layered over a bleak, corrupted world. At times, particularly in brighter exterior areas, there's a certain charm to its design. However, muddy textures and dim lighting undermine that style. Darker environments are especially problematic, so dark in fact that it's genuinely difficult to see where you're stepping. That wouldn't be quite as aggravating if falling to your death wasn't such a regular occurrence. Instead of feeling like a consequence of risky exploration, many deaths feel cheap, the result of poor visibility rather than poor decision making. Combat is positioned as the game's central pillar. You'll cleave through corrupted soldiers, Pharon warriors, and other enemies in encounters that are clearly meant to test your patience and precision. There are 7 fighting styles, hundreds of weapons components to forge, thousands of combinations, and magical augments to tailor your build. On paper, it's impressively deep. In execution, combat feels far simpler than its system suggests. Basic attacks, blocks, parries, and dodge rolls form the core loop. Timing a parry to stagger an enemy can be satisfying, and boss fights do occasionally deliver that familiar Souls-like rush when you finally overcome a difficult foe. But the moment-to-moment fighting lacks weight and fluidity. It doesn't have that tactile punch or razor-sharp responsiveness you'd hope for. At times, you're not just battling enemies, you're battling the camera. Its positioning can be awkward in tighter spaces, obscuring incoming attacks or making it harder to judge distances. Combined with occasional questionable control bindings, it can make already challenging encounters feel clumsy. Progression comes through crafting new weapons and armor, upgrading gear with additional sockets, and investing in stat improvements via in-game systems. This layering of RPG mechanics does offer meaningful customization. You can experiment with builds, tweak your loadout, and slowly shape your knight into something more formidable, yet even here the sense of reward feels muted. Loot rarely feels exciting, and the act of crafting, while flexible, never quite reaches the level of experimentation that would make it addictive. The open world structure is bolstered by Starspire, your home sanctuary. Here you can recruit refugees, make moral decisions about who deserves shelter, and unlock perks or equipment through your leadership choices. It's an interesting idea, adding a layer of community building and moral ambiguity to the experience. Sadly, the narrative framework supporting these choices isn't strong enough to make them resonate. The story exists, but it doesn't pull you in. Characters deliver exposition, sometimes through decent voice acting, sometimes through performances that feel flat or inconsistent, but the overarching plot never truly grips. You're told the world is on the brink, that the night plague is mutating, that everything hangs in the balance. Emotionally though, it's hard to feel invested. Technically, there are additional rough edges. Long load times between certain areas interrupt the flow of exploration. Visual muddiness can make environments feel less detailed than they might actually be. Performance isn't bad, but it never feels particularly polished either. These issues add up, reinforcing the sense that Sands of Aura has a solid foundation, but hasn't fully realized its ambitions. To its credit, the game doesn't hold your hand. There's no minimap cluttering the screen, no checklist dictating your every move. For some players, that purity of design, paired with tough combat and build experimentation, will be exactly what they're looking for. There's a certain satisfaction in slowly mastering parry windows, upgrading your gear, and conquering an island that previously crushed you. But for me, the experience never quite clicked. The lack of visual clarity, the confusing navigation, the camera frustrations, and a story that fails to captivate all combine to make the journey feel more exhausting than enthralling. Difficulty alone doesn't create depth, and obscurity doesn't automatically create intrigue. Sands of Aura has ambition. Its shattered world, sea of sand, and knightly order fighting against corruption are all compelling ingredients. Yet while it occasionally hints at greatness, it ultimately fell flat for me. In a genre defined by precision and atmosphere, this is a voyage that feels lost at sea. Sands of Aura is out now on the Nintendo eShop, priced at $19.99 in the UK and $24.99 in the US. Hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, and until next time.